Hey there everyone, my name is Deputy Mario from the National United States Police Department, and today I want to talk to you about one of the most annoying cases all my team and departments from the DoD has ever had, the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer was a serial killer who tormented the north areas of North California between December of 1968 and October of 1969. He was known for sending letters to my partners back in those days with the riddles and confessions from his murders, and in one of his letters he even claimed that he killed 37 people. However, we can only confirm 5 kills and 2 injuries. He is also known because my team and I haven't been able to find him yet.
Kill me!
But before we tell you why we weren't able to find him, I'm going to talk to you about his victims. We will begin with the first case. December 20, 1968, around 10:15 p.m., 17-year-old David Faraday and his 6-year-old partner Betty Lou were parked at a gravel turnout, being famous for a lover's lane in California. Sadly, none of them made it home as around 11 p.m. they were found shot to death. Now we will begin with the second case. July 4, 1969. Another young couple. 19-year-old Michael Muñoz and 22-year-old Darlene Faring were shot in California around midnight as they were sitting in a car parked at a golf course. The Zodiac Killer even called the police around 12:40 a.m., reporting the double murder and confessing he killed the kids last year. That's when my partners and I knew about him. However, Michael survived, but he wasn't able to tell us any evidence because he couldn't see the killer. He was masked out. Now we'll tell you the third case. September 27, 1969. One evening, 2 college students, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, were relaxing by the shore of Lake Bereza in California when a man approached them wearing a homemade executioner's mask. He claimed he was an escaped prison convict trying to go to Mexico and told the kids he needed a car and money. Then he proceeded to tie them up, and then without a warning he pulled out a knife and stabbed them. Then he proceeded to vandalize the car, marking the date of his killing, and then called the police again. Miraculously, Hartnett survived his stabbing, but again he couldn't tell us any evidence because the killer was masked. Now the last case. October 11, 1969. The last attack we have recorded with it was in the Presidio Heights in San Francisco. The Zodiac Killer shot a cab driver over there. His name was Paul Stein. And then he proceeded to cut a part of the cabbie's bloody shirt. From then on, the killer has been sending us and the press taunting letters, claiming himself as the Zodiac Killer.
One of the most important questions inside of the case of the Zodiac Killer is why they didn't find him. Well, there are several reasons of why he was never found. Several times, the Zodiac Killer gave advice to the police about the attacks that he was going to make. If the police had been more aware of their surroundings and the people around, well, maybe the story will be different. Now, I will tell you some of the reasons of why the Zodiac Killer was never found. First, it is known that the only sketches that the police released about the Zodiac Killer are useless. And because of this, people used to claim that their neighbor, someone they knew, or even someone from their family was the Zodiac Killer, which led to a lot of misinformation and also to have a lot of suspects. Another reason was because of the mishandled police work. During the last attack of the Zodiac Killer, witnesses called the police in order to alert them about a taxi driver being shot. They described the shooter as a white middle-aged man, but then, in the police radio, it was described as a black man. So, the police that were in the zone completely ignored a white man who passed right in front of them. That could have been the Zodiac Killer. The third reason is because during that time period, there were no fax machines, no computers, no cellular phones, and one of the most important things, there wasn't a system that helped police identify fingerprints as well as DNA tests. So, even though police had a clue or some evidence, it was really hard to identify if a person was guilty or not. The last reason is more like a theory, and it is that the Zodiac killer may have been more than one person. Investigators believe that the Zodiac killer were multiple people, and that is why they never got a concrete clue. But well, these were 4 reasons of why the Zodiac killer was never caught.
After decades of silence, the code of this mysterious killer has been found and revealed. As we know, the Zodiac killer used to send letters and also make phone calls to the police department to make fun of them, because they were lost in the search to find him. One of these phone calls was actually made next to the police department on a car wash, because he talked about how he killed the couple on Lovers Lane, and also he admitted of a second attack on a couple that was celebrating 4th of July. Returning back to the letters, one of these letters talked about a book of killing, but killing humans to sport. He also said that my victims will become my servants in the afterlife. This is Zodiac speaking. One of these letters also contained a part of a cryptogram, many of these letters also, but the police decided to focus on one of the most famous ciphers in the world, called Cipher 340. This is the name because these are the number of symbols that are in this letter, and this has been cracked after 51 years. But before I tell you about that, you need to know about a letter that he sent before, when he threatened to kill a bunch of kids in school, well, they are in the way to school. He fortunately did not do that because he was contacted on a TV show when he said he was afraid to die in the gas chamber, and also that he needed a lot of help.
That was the voice of a man who called himself the Zodiac Killer. He's talking to attorney Melvin Belli by phone on a television conversation show.
What's going on inside you right now, Sam? Please.
I have headache.
If it all boils down to the question of you're giving yourself up, if you could be assured that you wouldn't get capital punishment for myself.
I don't want to give myself up.
Huh?
I want to kill those kids.
As it turns out, when we deciphered this code, it turns out that it was all a lie, because the man that was contacted on the TV show was actually an imposter, and he wasn't afraid to die because that will bring him closer to paradise. We do know a little thing about the Zodiac killer. We do know that he was a 25 to 35-year-old man. He was a white male. We know this because he was seen in one of the crime scenes when he shot a cab driver, but the verdict unfortunately missed him like a black male, so the police didn't catch him, and he actually made a phone call saying that they were so close to finding him. Well, hopefully we can find the Zodiac killer. We're trying to make a full DNA profile based on the letters that he sent to the police department before. And hopefully we don't get any more of those creepy phone calls or creepy letters.